Good afternoon, my good friends. Good afternoon. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my live stream. My name is Andre Lefevre, and I am a true blue citizen journalist, independent journalist. My website is wildnews.us, and I am an extreme libertarian, and I like to mouth off on things political, things cultural, things interesting. Another tragedy hit the United States. Another mass shooting tragedy hit us. At least 10 people shot dead in Pittsburgh synagogue, according to the local reports. Robert Bowers, 46, has reportedly shouted, "All Jews must die," as he opened fire with the handguns and AR-15. Daily Mail reports that the murderer is a Trump-hating anti-Semite who regularly complained on social media about the president and the infestation of Jews. And sadly, many times foreign media is a lot better at reporting what's going on than our corporate-controlled hacks. This tragedy comes on the heels of a fake bomb hoax staged by a registered Democrat, Caesar Sayak, 56, who has been arrested for sending pipe bomb-shaped devices to the prominent Democrats. The corporate-controlled media has been unsuccessfully attempting to lump Sayak with the MAGA movement. Most impartial observers, however, believe that Sayak is a Democrat operative perpetrating a black flag mission to help Democrats win the upcoming election. Well, um, it is sad. It is sad. Uh, there are many reasons that lead me to believe that both of these incidents, the fake bomb incident from Florida, where Caesar Sayak, a registered Democrat up until 2 years ago, has been sending material which may look like pipe bombs, but had no ability to explode. And Robert Bowers, if it's truly this person who made the killing, a true blue Trump hating monster. Let's go. Let's be meticulous about it. We are on dailymail.co.uk. I'm going in and I'm reading I'm reading the headline. I'm going in, chilling last post of Trump hating anti-Semite. Oops, sorry about that, folks. Anti-Semite. My connection has been slow, and I hope it's not Google and Deep State who is messing with it, even though I wouldn't put it past them. Oops. I could. Okay, here we go. We're back. Let me just scroll. I'm going in, chilling last post of Trump hating anti-Semite 46 who yelled, "All Jews must die," as he killed at least 10 and left multiple injured, including 4 cops after. And for some reason, I'm just. Including 4 cops after he opened fire with an AR-15 and handguns in a Pittsburgh synagogue. Let's see if we can. Robert Bowers, 46, opened fire on the Tree Life Congregation Synagogue at around 10 a.m. on Saturday. He slaughtered 3 people on the main floor, then went to a similar congregation in the basement. There he murdered another 3 people before fleeing to the third floor where he exchanged fire with the police. The gunman injured 4 police officers before being shot himself, surrendering to SWAT officers. As he sprayed the worshippers with bullets, the anti-Semitic gunman yelled, "All Jews must die." A man with the same name wrote anti-Semitic comments on Twitter an hour earlier and said, "I'm going in." The synagogue was packed for Sabbath service and Breeze ceremony at the time and had no security. President Trump described the mass shooting as a shame and said that it would not have happened if the synagogue had an armed guard. He focused his comments on making the death penalty in vogue for mass shooters instead. Um, the I mean, we don't know the extent of this tragedy yet. We really do not. There may be more people dying from injuries, and we really don't know enough about Robert Bowers yet to truly definitively say who he is. But it's obvious he's not part of our movement. He's not a MAGA person. He's not a Trump supporter. There's nothing to do with libertarians. There's nothing to do with Christian conservatives. I suspect he is a Democrat operative. And I'm going to elaborate a little bit later in this broadcast why I think so. But before we go there, I want to go to Caesar Sayak. And I am on, let me bring this up. I am on the Shad Olson show. Here's the headline. Caesar Sayak, MAGA bomber, Facebook betrays Democrat Trump infiltrator on TikTok posts. And apparently this is a post, he posted a picture which was photoshopped with Bush Younger having blood on his hands. I'm not a big I'm not a big Bush fan, but still, it betrays the state of mind. While the mainstream media quickly labels Caesar Sayak as a bona fide Trump-loving conservative Republican, and I'm reading, social media and internet investigation shows the alleged MAGA bomber listed as a registered Democrat since 1980, only changing to Republican in 2016, and reveals multiple social media posts hating Republicans and the GOP bashing George W. Bush and Dick Cheney, posting photos of Bush and Cheney as war criminals and praising, quote, pink liberal women as beautiful women of the world. And that's only the beginning. After arrest of 56-year-old Susan Sayak of Aventura, Florida, also known as Caesar Sayak or Caesar Tenteri, son Bazo, as he, forgive me for mangling those names, as he is known on Facebook on allegations that he is responsible for the flurry of fake bombs sent to Democrat leaders just 10 days before 2018 midterm election, brought immediate identification of Sack as a diehard Trump supporter during a pristine unvandalized despite multiple alleged trips through vulnerably anti-Trump metropolitan areas. More on that later. Trump van wrapped in plaster with Trump paraphernalia. I'm not going to read it anymore, but it really shows that it was a prepared that Caesar Sack, it was an operation. It was obvious that those stickers on his van were not individual stickers. It was a wrap. It was a professionally designed wrap to wrap the vehicle and to look like he was a Trump supporter. And he was a registered Democrat up until 2 years ago. There's something that those tragic events, such as today's murder of innocents in Pittsburgh, Parkland shooter, Santa Fe High School shooter, and most of the other mass murder shooters, it looks like they've all been known to the police, all of those people. Excuse me. Needed to sneeze. All of them were known to the police. And I suspect that they're actually part of the much wider operation. After World War II, the deep state, CIA primarily, created MK Ultra program, which was designed to control people's mind, not all of our minds, but the ones that were a little bit off, the people that had some mental problems, they would put them on psychotropic drugs, and they were became very susceptible to suggestion. It is believed that Sirhan um, Sirhan, who murdered Robert F. Kennedy. Hinckley, I can't remember his first name, a young man who tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan, and the Parkland shooter, and the Santa Fe high school shooter in Texas recently, and many others were part of that program. I don't know if it's still called MK Ultra, but one of the permutations of that old program. And that program is not run by MAGA. That program is not run by libertarians. That program is not run by Christian conservatives. It's certainly run by the Democratic Party and the Rhino establishment people who have nothing to do with Trump and our wider movement. It is an obvious attempt, the fake bombs in Florida this week, and today's strategy to help Democrats win the election. Why am I saying though? As you can see on the screen, the Latin phrase "cui bono," which translates "who benefits." Who would benefit from the horrible murder today and from the fake bomb threats sent to prominent Democrats? Would the Republicans benefit from it? Not in a million years. There is no scenario that you can build if you're a sane person, if you have a normal amount of human logic, which will show that these two events will benefit Republicans or benefit Donald Trump. Both of those events can only benefit Democrats. Actually, I think they will backfire. But it obviously the intent is to make Democrats look like victims, make them look like poor little victims abused by the bad, evil MAGA people and Donald Trump. The same thing with the caravan of illegals bearing down, their invaders bearing down our border. It is obvious to me that Democrats are bent upon creating as much havoc to depress the Republican turnout and the stimulate ability for Democrats to vote, and to create so much havoc that Democrats can do a lot of voter fraud. Because Democrats aren't able to win elections the honest way, convincing hardworking American individuals, citizens, to vote for them. The only way they can win is by divide and conquer tactic and by voter fraud. There's another reason why I am convinced that both Bowers and Sayak are Democrat operatives, is because there is a huge difference in psychological makeup between the Democrats and us, MAGA. We are composed of the middle class. We're hardworking people. We value hard work. We believe in 10 Commandments, and in those of us who are libertarians and may not be religious, we still believe in solid moral bedrock when we do business. Democrats and their minions, the progressives, do not believe in morals. They believe in situation morals. By all means necessary. The only thing they are after is power. If it means killing people, lying, cheating, stealing, they'll do it. They have done it. There's enough empirical evidence to show that they got no morals at all. The Caesar Sayak individual made his living as a male stripper. He has a long rap sheet of petty felonies and heavy misdemeanors. Declared bankruptcy, lived with his mother. This is not a profile of a person who supports Donald Trump or belongs to our movement. This is a profile of a Democrat. Why am I saying that? It's because Democrats are either a small number of wealthy corporate individuals Silicon Valley, New York money people, or or welfare recipients who are willing to vote Democrat because they're receiving crumbs from the elite stable and they don't have to work. So this is an unholy alliance between the wealthy liberal power elite, Democrat leftist elite, and a huge mass of people who don't want to work. There's also another group, also that supports Democrat, is a hordes of government officials, the deep state, who service, who on one hand service the welfare recipients, on the other hand keeping tabs on us by creating regulations. I mean by us, I mean middle class people, the freedom-loving people. God forbid we will flex our muscles like we have been doing for the last 8 years since 2012 midterm election, and they want to keep us in check. So there's no way either one of these gentlemen, and I'm using the word gentleman loosely, could be associated with MAGA movement. They simply, well, in the case of Sayak, is just his life history, and he is, from what I can see of his psychological makeup, he's just simply inconsistent with somebody liking Trump and hating Democrats. And Robert Bowers, the man who apparently murdered all those Jewish people in Pittsburgh. Well, MAGA people don't do that. They simply don't. People who like Trump and people who believe in MAGA values, that alone will prevent them from creating a heinous crime, because that goes outside of what we do. There's a huge, huge difference in moral values between us and the lefties. Lefties believe that by all means necessary. We believe in a very rigid moral code. And I know the Democrats don't understand it because they don't possess the moral code, and they cannot imagine people who do possess it. Now, let me touch on let me touch on the caravan. Uh, it is bearing down from Honduras now. It's somewhere in the middle of Mexico. And the last reports I heard is that it's heading for the Texas border, which you see on the screen, and then Russian-Mexican border from Guatemala, I believe. This is what they plan to do to us. Already the numbers swell to more than 14,000. I think by the time they get to the U.S. border, they're probably close to 20, 25, 30,000 of them. The corporate control propaganda tries to portray as women and children. The reality is those are just very small percentage. Of course, the Soros shields keep women and children in front, so that's all the corporate control cameras capture. But most of those people are young men, military age men. It is a true invasion because Democrats, since, as I mentioned before, they cannot win at the ballot box. They simply want to pack the electorate. They want to replace us, the middle class men and women, with the illegal immigrants because they don't have the same moral values as we do. They're used to oppressive governments and they're used to accepting the handouts. We're not. We'd like to work for our money. Let me tell you what I do about it, because I am truly concerned about the political violence in our country. In my 58 years of life, and I've been in the United States since I came here in the early 70s. As a teenager, I have not seen so much political violence. Also have not seen such a persistent ability or such persistent efforts of the left to portray normal people as evil. Let me tell you what I do. I'm not going to give anybody any advice, but I'm just telling you what I do because I fear a breakdown of law and order and normal normal flow of life in our country, and I am in California, is that I make sure that all my guns are in working order, that I have sufficient amount of ammunition to fend off a mob if it decides to invade my property. I'll be totally useless if I deal with military units or law enforcement. But if a pillaging mob appears in front of my house, well, I firmly believe in it's better be carried by six. It's better be tried by 12 than carried by six. Better be tried by 12 than carried by six. I don't intend to. I don't intend to provoke any violence, but I intend to protect what's mine. I also have at least 2 weeks worth of water for myself and my family, and food supplies for that period of time. I also been in touch with my family and friends who are in the law enforcement to find out what they think. Most of them echo my fear of breakdown in law and order, but there are no indications that they are worried that anything will happen before the elections, at least not in Southern California where I live. What all of us fear, however, that if Democrats do lose, we're going to have a rioting like we did during the Rodney King riots in LA in 2012 when 2000, I'm sorry, 1992, and I think that's when it was, after the aftermath of a cell phone recording of a black man being beat up by a number of cops. Los Angeles went into weeks worth of burning, pillaging, raping, and the killing of primarily white people and Koreans as well. Now, it was always portrayed by the corporate control media as the rage, just rage by the black people, but if you look at the footage, if you talk to the people who were involved, in the law enforcement who were involved in it, you'll see that the majority of the rioters were not black; they were illegal immigrants. They just took the chance into robbing, raping, and pillaging American citizens, and that's why I feared the caravan. This is why I fear that invasion. It needs to be stopped because illegals have no vested interest in our country. They don't like us, and I'm being generous. They actually hate us. And for them to kill you and take your stuff away when the law and order breaks down, not only would be okay, but probably would be celebrated. Probably would be celebrated. By no means I say fire the shot first or throw the first punch. No, but we need to be prepared to protect ourselves. Because guess what? These people are cowards, and if they see somebody who's willing to protect himself, they're not going to bother you. But you have to be ready to do it. And I hope I know I am, and I hope most of you ladies and gents are too. Now I'm convinced that there is a red wave going. I'm convinced that we will win in the midterm, despite voter fraud and despite all other problems that these elections will have. And also, I am convinced that the Democrats won't be able to organize sizable riots afterwards. The um, the illegal invaders caravan scares me a little more because they're really going to put us in an untenable position. How do you stop it? Our screwy immigration law say that as soon as any of them will set foot on the U.S. soil, that ask for political asylum, and we have to keep them at least for 40 days or maybe more. So that's why we needed a wall. That's why we need the wall to stop any of those invaders put foot on our soil. I don't know how General Mathis, who is now in charge of this, will do. I hope he figures it out. But that does concern me. You remember uh, this is, and let's get a second for the video to. Oops, the wrong. Let's see here.
contained a suspicious device. You could see it right there.
And forgive me, I can't. Uh, Here we go. This was, imagine this horde of people crashing through our border. And I know this is southern border of Mexico, and they just broke through. Imagine breaking through your property like that, your town, your city, your state, your county. Right now, there are more than 14,000 of them. Most of them are young men of the military age. They'll probably be closer to 20, 25, 30,000, or maybe more when they try to crash through the Texas border or maybe other place. There are also reports of other invasion caravans being organized in Honduras and Central America. So, ladies and gents, this is not a joke. This is not a joke at all. Now, before I go, this is, and it's going to load in a second, I hope. This is my website, wildnews.us. Wildnews.us. Now, if for some reason you want to get in touch with me, just go to contact info tab, and my email address is there, and my telephone numbers is there. And yeah, you're welcome to contact me. If you don't know me personally, probably easier to contact me through email because I don't always pick up unknown phones when I see an unknown number. But if you want to suggest a story or have some information for me for the stories that I already covered, or you just want to talk to me, or you want to make a comment, feel free to email me, and if you know me, call me. But sometimes I have time to pick up the phone call. Now, my good friends, thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it a lot more than I can ever express in words. Please stay safe, and God bless you. God bless you.